Chapter 1. When Evelyn mentioned divorce for the sixth time, I finally agreed. But the moment she was about to sign the agreement, she suddenly panicked. "There's a 30-day cooling-off period," she said softly. "You can regret it any time. I won't hold it against you." I looked past her, straight at the man standing behind her, and curled my lips into a mocking smile. Whoever regrets this can go straight to hell. On the day we went to get the divorce certificate, she grabbed my hand again. "We've been together for more than 10 years, she said, her eyes red. "Are you really this heartless? Are you really willing to cut it off just like that?" Once again, I glanced at the man behind her. "You already did something wrong," I replied coldly. "And when you do something wrong, you accept the punishment." And her punishment was coming soon. 2 months before the company was scheduled to go public, I had someone send a message to Evelyn. "Tell her I agree to the divorce." A few minutes later, my phone rang. It was an unfamiliar number. "Evelyn is in a meeting," a man's voice said, unable to hide his excitement. "I'll have someone bring you the divorce agreement." I recognized that voice immediately. It was Robert, the man Evelyn fell in love with at first sight. "All right," I replied and was about to hang up. But then I clearly heard Evelyn's voice from the other side. "Robert, who's calling?" Hearing her voice felt strangely unfamiliar. We hadn't seen each other for 8 months. My mind drifted back to what she said 8 months ago. "Simon, you're insane. I want a divorce." After that, she never contacted me again. She blocked every possible way I could reach her. And just like she said, when she didn't want me to find her, I never could. I really did lose my mind. I contacted every one of her friends. One by one, they all blocked me. Still, I couldn't find her. I know Evelyn well. If she doesn't want to be found, no one can find her. During that time, I cried every day. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I grew thinner with each passing day. My father was terrified and stayed by my side constantly. "It's nothing," Robert said. "Just a spam call." Then my screen returned to normal. My wallpaper was a photo of Evelyn and me from our school days. She was bright and youthful. I was sunny and handsome. We were the golden couple in everyone's eyes. But when did I become the lunatic she talked about? When did I become the deranged man she described to others? I thought about it. It probably started the moment Robert first appeared in her life. Chapter 2. 1 year ago, Evelyn and I attended a friend's wedding. Just before the ceremony began, one of the bridesmaids got food poisoning and couldn't participate. So our friend pulled Evelyn in at the last minute to fill the spot. As the wedding music started, Evelyn walked onto the stage hand in hand with a groomsman. They danced together. The man guided her skillfully. Evelyn had never been good at dancing, but under his lead, her awkward movements slowly became smoother. From holding hands to fingers tentatively intertwining, from stiff expressions to gazes filled with silent understanding. Sitting below the stage, my heart skipped a beat. Then it began pounding violently. On the way home, I stayed silent. I kept telling myself that Evelyn had never crossed any lines in all the years we'd been together. I didn't want to believe what I saw. I didn't dare think too deeply about it. Yet her mood that night was unusually good. She even hummed the song they danced to. Only when she noticed my gaze did she realize she might be acting too happy. "What's wrong?" she asked nervously. "Are you feeling unwell?" I stared at her silently. Her face showed concern, but the spark in her eyes burned even brighter. "You really enjoyed dancing with another man, didn't you?" I asked sarcastically. Her expression froze. She slammed her hand on the steering wheel. "It's my best friend's wedding. Am I not allowed to be happy?" "Simon, do you have to make such groundless accusations?" "Groundless?" I stared at her in disbelief. The woman who once said she loved me with her life was now snapping at me because of a stranger. If I hadn't seen with my own eyes that look of love appearing for another man, I wouldn't have felt this terrified. We didn't speak for the rest of the ride. When she dropped me off, she drove away without a word. I still remember how resolute her back looked. That was our first fight, and the first time she completely ignored me. Chapter 3. Back home, I kept replaying my words, wondering if I had gone too far. Maybe I really was being petty. So when I couldn't reach her after midnight, I panicked. I searched for her everywhere. Near dawn, one of her friends posted a photo with a location tag. Evelyn was in it. Sitting right beside her was Robert. Their bodies leaned toward each other, like secret lovers trying to hide but unable to resist. Rage exploded inside me. I followed the location. Room by room I searched. Finally, I found them in a private room. Every woman there was in the arms of a man, including Evelyn. Someone laughed. Evelyn, after being with Simon for more than 10 years, do you still love him? Aren't you tired of it? Teasing voices overlapped. Evelyn looked at Robert, who had his arm around her. What are 10+ years of feelings worth? And what even is love? With my current status, don't I just have to say a few words or lift a finger to get whatever I want? He's old now, and his temper's worse. How can he compare to younger guys? Then she lifted her head and kissed Robert. They kissed deeply, like lovers reunited after being forced apart. My world spun. The woman I loved for over 10 years was kissing another man. I grabbed a wine bottle and smashed it toward Robert's head. People screamed. Robert clutched his bleeding head. So what am I to you? I roared. Just another toy? Are you a rabid dog that bites anyone you see? Evelyn screamed. She rushed to Robert. I pressed the broken bottle against his throat. Do you even know who I am? If you want to be a homewrecker, crawl back into the gutter where you belong. I don't go easy. Stop, Simon. Don't hurt Robert. She grabbed the bottle. The sharp edges pierced her hand. Blood dripped onto the floor. She still wouldn't let go. She chose him. Chapter 4. Everything felt unreal. I loosened my grip. Robert held Evelyn's bleeding hand. We need to go to the hospital. Everyone rushed around them. No one looked at me. Not even once. At that moment, I felt nothing. Because my heart was already shattered. Even when I was bullied years ago. She never stood in front of me. She just listened. Silently. What was I to her? Someone to suffer with. But never someone to protect. That night, my old waist injury relapsed. I collapsed. At the hospital, she said lightly, I told you long ago. If your back isn't healed, stop pretending to be tough. No one forced you to save me. Her words killed something inside me. I lost control. I grabbed her throat. She pushed me away. Simon, you're a lunatic. I'm divorcing you. Love really does appear in an instant. And disappear in an instant. Chapter 5. Someone knocked on my door. It was the person delivering the divorce agreement. All properties were assigned to me, but not the company shares. Once the company went public, she would be unimaginably wealthy. I gathered our documents and went to the company. No one recognized me. Security blocked me. I'm here to see Evelyn. Sorry, the receptionist said coldly. Our boss is having lunch with her husband. I laughed. So Evelyn was openly calling Robert her husband now. Chapter 6. She was in such a hurry. Had she already forgotten that she was still legally married to me? The marriage was still valid. Call Evelyn, I said coldly. Tell her Simon is looking for her. Hearing the firmness in my voice, the receptionist and the security guards exchanged glances. The receptionist hesitated for a moment before picking up her phone and stepping aside to make the call. Not long after, Evelyn came back. Behind her stood Robert, tall, straight-backed, and looking every bit like a protector. He wrapped an arm around Evelyn's shoulders, as if guarding some priceless treasure. The moment Evelyn saw me, her steps faltered. She gently shrugged off Robert's arm and walked toward me. What is it? I handed her the divorce agreement. I don't agree with the asset division written here. What asset division? She frowned. I froze for a second, then opened the page and handed it back to her. You didn't even mention the company shares. Evelyn looked stunned. After reading, she slowly turned her head toward Robert. She didn't say anything, but the silence was suffocating. In that moment, I knew exactly who had drafted the original agreement. Robert lowered his head. Realizing he couldn't hide anymore, he tightened his grip on Evelyn's wrist and spoke hoarsely. You said he used the kid to tie you down. Now that he's willing to sign, I thought we should cut things clean quickly before anything unexpected happens. Evelyn believed him instantly. Just seconds ago, her eyes had been sharp and cold. Now, her fingertips brushed the back of his hand. Her voice softened. Silly. Why are you crying? For a split second, I felt dizzy. It was as if I had returned to our school days. Back then, we were secretly dating and got caught by the discipline director. Our names were broadcast across the whole school. I had been hiding in the equipment room, crying in a corner. She kicked the door open, brushed her fingers across the back of my hand, just like she did now, and stuffed tissues into my palm. Why are you crying? Later, when our startup failed, she squatted in the office, surrounded by rejected contracts. She said the same words. It's nothing. It'll be fine. I used to think she only spoke like that to me. I never imagined Robert would be the one she comforted now. I laughed bitterly. The love I once believed was solid as rock turned out to be worthless in front of her so-called love at first sight. Evelyn finally turned to me. Her eyes were dark and unreadable. Come to my office. Inside, she pulled another agreement from the drawer. This one included an additional 30% of company shares. I froze. Then I laughed coldly. So the divorce wasn't something she said only in anger. And it wasn't just Robert's idea either. I exhaled slowly and picked up the pen. Just as I was about to sign, a hand stopped me. Are you really going through with the divorce? Her brows knitted slightly. I laughed. She was the one who kept asking for a divorce. Why was she questioning me now? Since the moment you met Robert, you've had someone bring up divorce to me 6 times. She stiffened. That's impossible. Chapter 7. Evelyn paused. Her lips moved slightly before she finally spoke. Simon, life is meant to be lived, not counted. I didn't even realize I asked 6 times. But you remember so clearly. I couldn't say a word. Every time she brought it up, it felt like a knife stabbing into my heart. Each time took half my life. How could I forget? Seeing I wasn't moved, she still refused to move her hand. You really don't want anything else? She asked repeatedly. No. Convert the shares into cash. As long as I had money, I could start over. Everything else? Let the adulterous pair enjoy it. This weekend, let's go see Dad together, she said suddenly. If he agrees, I'll let you sign. My hand trembled. Tears fell uncontrollably. Rage exploded inside me. I lifted the pen and stabbed it into the back of her hand. She cried out in pain and released me. I signed immediately and walked out. I'll wait for you at the Civil Affairs Bureau. After finishing everything, I kept the receipt. We would return after the 30-day cooling-off period. Evelyn followed behind me in silence. At the car, she grabbed my hand. What made you suddenly agree to the divorce? I shook her off. Ignored her. What a ridiculous question. You should at least tell me the reason, Simon. The reason? I sneered. Evelyn, you're really good at pretending to be clueless. I glanced at Robert behind her. Because you couldn't control yourself. Because you kept bringing up divorce. Because you allowed your lover to humiliate me in public. There were too many reasons. While I was breaking down, losing my mind, begging her to come back, I suddenly woke up. What is love? What do more than 10 years even mean? According to Evelyn, they were things she could get just by saying a few words or curling a finger. Robert stood behind her. Yet she still had the nerve to ask why I wanted a divorce. From Robert's behavior, I realized something. Leaving Evelyn now was the best choice. Because, with that man around, she was heading straight toward disaster. Chapter 8. Simon, during the 30-day cooling-off period, you can change your mind anytime. I'll pretend none of this ever happened. She was panicking. She saw the determination in my eyes. She knew that if she let me go, I would never come back. But she still clung to her pride. I couldn't stand her expression anymore. I raised my hand and slapped her. The crisp sound cut off everything she was about to say. Looking back, I realized I had never truly been happy with Evelyn. Everything I thought was her devotion was only because, in those difficult years, there was no one else beside her. Once life became easy, she returned to her true nature. She once said, "Look at rich couples. They act loving on the surface, but who knows how many lovers they keep outside." I asked her, "If you became wealthy, would you be like that too?" She froze, then buried her face in my chest. How could I? I'll always love you. I believed her. I truly believed she was different. Ignored the guilt and hesitation in her eyes. Even after discovering Robert, I still held onto a shred of hope. I was wrong. These memories hurt too much. All I wanted was to escape this marriage as fast as possible. I had the ability. Why should I stay with a woman who betrayed me? Evelyn covered her face, staring at me in disbelief. Robert rushed forward and raised his hand. Evelyn grabbed him. Don't you dare hurt him. The scene repeated itself. Same people. Reversed roles. Evelyn, don't stop me. He hit you. Robert shouted. She shot him a look that froze him. He snorted and turned away. Simon, you weren't like this before. You never got angry because of another man. Don't worry, she said hurriedly. As long as you don't divorce me, I can let everything go. You're forgetting, back when we were building the business, those bosses. In panic, she blurted out truths she never admitted. So, you do remember we built the company together. I slapped her again. I helped you build your career. Not so you could become shameless. Not so you could cheat. Not so you could get yourself a lover. My father sold his house to support us. He sold every keepsake my mother left. He worked under burning sun and freezing snow to help you research products. You have no conscience. I screamed until my voice broke. I'll buy the house back. I'll buy back your mother's belongings. I'll return everything. She clutched my hand, begging. It's too late. Everything is too late. I took out my father's death certificate. Evelyn took it. Her lips trembled. Her eyes reddened. What happened? Dad was so healthy, how could he die? I closed my eyes in agony. Chapter 9. During that time, Evelyn's coldness pushed me to the edge. My mental defenses had already collapsed. After failing to persuade me, my father decided to find her himself. Not long after he left, I received a call. My father had been in a car accident. When I arrived at the hospital, only a body covered by a white sheet remained. I lifted it. His face was mangled beyond recognition. Blood soaked the sheet completely. I called Evelyn again and again, sent countless messages. Silence. That was when I finally woke up. She was never the woman I imagined. She was unreliable. I handled the funeral alone. After everything was settled, I had someone send her a message. My decision to divorce wasn't made out of anger. Not because she had another man, but because I realized, after losing the person closest to me, the cost of loving her was too great. So great that I almost wanted to leave this world with my father. The doctor told me my father didn't die immediately. Before losing consciousness, he held on to say one last sentence to Evelyn. He hoped the son he loved most could live a healthy and happy life. From that moment on, I no longer had the right to die. Chapter 10. Carrying out my father's final wish was the last comfort I could give him. Do you know? My dad collapsed right at the entrance of your company. Forget it. Saying anything more was meaningless. She had no heart. She wouldn't care. I started the car and drove away without giving her a chance to speak. In the rearview mirror, I saw Evelyn's hands fall weakly to her sides. Her eyes were empty, dazed. My phone vibrated. A message from her. Where is Dad buried? I want to visit him. It seemed she had removed me from her block list. I didn't reply. Instead, I blocked her. My father wouldn't want to see her. After I got home, I packed up all of Evelyn's belongings and had them sent to the company. Then I contacted an agent to list the house for sale. That house held more than 10 years of memories, and far too many traces of Evelyn. I didn't want to stay there anymore. I moved into my new home. It was the house I had bought using the company's very first earnings. I thought that if I quietly endured until the day we officially received the divorce certificate, everything between us would finally be over. But 1 week before the final date, Robert suddenly appeared at my door. You really made it hard for me to find you. The moment I opened the door, a bucket of foul-smelling water was dumped over my head. Before I could react, 2 men shoved me back inside. So you're the one meddling in my brother's relationship? I stumbled. My back slammed into the shoe cabinet. The pain wasn't what scared me. It was the two burly men staring at me with hostility. Even though I was the one being cheated on, I knew explaining was useless. Quietly, I slipped my hand into my pocket and dialed a number by instinct. Tomorrow, don't get any funny ideas. Don't let Evelyn hesitate for even 1 second. Got it. Robert slapped me hard across the face. A burning pain spread instantly. I glared sideways at him. Strangely, I felt a trace of satisfaction. Seeing I wouldn't speak, Robert lost interest. He gestured to the two men and left. As soon as the door closed, the two men pressed me against the cabinet. The look in their eyes made my blood run cold. Lust. Shit. They were both gay. I instantly understood Robert's intention. Panic surged through me. All I could do was silently pray that my call would bring help in time. "You look pretty handsome," one of them sneered. "Let's have some fun." Just as the words fell, the door was kicked open. The man in front of me was sent flying by a brutal kick. Chapter 11. Simon. Jenny rushed in, drenched in sweat. Several people followed behind her. I gave her a weak smile. I had gambled correctly. Not long after I bought this apartment, she had purchased one right next door. Since it wasn't a work day, I knew she'd be home. Seeing this scene, the two men panicked. They retreated, only to realize Robert had already disappeared. As police sirens approached, the tightness in my chest finally eased. What happened? Who are these people? Jenny helped me up anxiously. They were sent by your sister's lover. I told her everything. Everything I had hidden before. Jenny went from shock to reluctant acceptance. She probably knew better than anyone what kind of person her sister was. I was taken to the hospital. Evelyn rushed over after being notified. When she saw Jenny taking care of me, she stormed forward and slapped Jenny. Jenny fought back immediately. They started fighting right in the hospital room. I lay there quietly watching. They were biological sisters, yet their relationship had never been good. Only when a nurse and security guards arrived were they separated. If I hadn't arrived in time today, you'd be facing another criminal charge. Jenny wiped the blood from her mouth and glared at Evelyn. Their relationship hadn't always been bad. It only worsened after Evelyn and I started dating. Despite everything, Jenny had always treated me fairly. She even helped a lot during the early startup days. I once asked Evelyn why she and Jenny drifted apart. She always avoided the question. "Are you okay?" Evelyn ignored her sister and grabbed my hand anxiously. The police entered to take my statement. They told me the two men had been arrested, but they refused to identify who sent them. What men? What mastermind? Evelyn asked in confusion. After hearing everything, she immediately dialed a number. No one answered. She cursed and rushed out. Chapter 12. I completed a medical injury assessment. Combined with the break-in and attempted assault, it was enough to send Robert to prison. Evelyn changed. She became overly attentive. "If you're doing this to make up for your lover's crimes, you don't need to." Her hand paused mid-feed. "I'll prove it to you." "Honey, let's go back to how we were, okay?" "Go back." "Will my dad come back?" "Evelyn, if my dad could come back, I would go back with you. And forget everything." She hugged me tightly. "I was wrong. I'll do anything if you forgive me." I sneered. "Then give the company back to me. And tell me where Robert is hiding." Her face twisted. "Do you love money that much? You don't care about our years together?" "Of course I love money. Didn't you become rich and then throw away our years just like that?" She staggered, then threw herself into my arms. "Honey, having me love you is enough. From now on, I'll only love you." I couldn't tell if she was sincere, but her tricks no longer worked. What is love? The cheapest thing in the world. Just lips touching. Who cares? Keep that cheap love for yourself. Whether it's the company or Robert, you won't be able to protect either. I smiled coldly. When you do something wrong, you pay the price. Her punishment was about to begin. Chapter 13. Actually, on the second day, after our first visit to the Civil Affairs Bureau, I contacted the employees Evelyn had kicked out, the original founders. After my injury, Evelyn forced them out using excuses. They were all willing to work with me again. One of them revealed something shocking. It was Robert's idea to get rid of them. Most of the current staff were Robert's relatives and classmates. So Evelyn and Robert had been involved long before the wedding. Everything suddenly made sense. I laughed bitterly. But my resolve didn't change. After discharge, I rebuilt my company, collected evidence. On the day we finalized the divorce, I prepared a grand gift. As the seal was stamped, Evelyn's phone rang. She glared at me. "Did you report it?" I said nothing. Since Robert interfered with company finances, a single call to the tax bureau was enough. Even if everything was clean, it would still affect the IPO. She collapsed. "We built this company together. You're ruthless. You gave it to Robert." I looked at her. "Robert has been arrested. As for the company, wait for the investigation." I walked away with the divorce certificate. Chapter 14. My new company developed smoothly. Compared to the past, everything felt easy. Evelyn's company failed its IPO. Robert's parents begged me for forgiveness. We met with lawyers present. Robert looked miserable. "I'll pay you however much you want. Please forgive me." They were my cousins. "If I go to prison, my family is finished." I laughed. Forgiveness is impossible. This is a society ruled by law, not money. And the thing I lack the least is money. The light left his eyes. This weakness was exactly what Evelyn loved. She once said I was too strong, too dominant. But she never understood. I carried everything because I loved her. After leaving the meeting, I discussed prosecution with my lawyer. Chapter 15. I was never a saint. Every cent spent on Robert before the divorce belonged to our marital property. He owed compensation. And for orchestrating an attack on me, the law would give its own judgment. During evidence collection, everything went smoothly. But I didn't expect Jenny to come to my company because of Evelyn. Her mental state is really bad right now. Jenny hesitated, as if there was something else she couldn't bring herself to say. "We have no relationship anymore," I replied calmly. "Whether she's doing well or not has nothing to do with me." Out of gratitude for her saving me that day, I didn't speak harshly. Jenny said nothing more. She finished her coffee in one gulp. "I understand. I'll tell her." As I walked her toward the elevator, she suddenly stopped and turned back. "You're single now. Would you ever consider me?" I didn't understand at first and looked at her in confusion. "It was me who told her I liked you back then," Jenny said softly. "That's why she started paying attention to you. If I had confessed first, maybe things wouldn't have ended this way for you." Stop. She was about to continue, but I really couldn't stand hearing such cliché talk. Even if I had chosen you back then, my life wouldn't necessarily be better. After going through a marriage like this, I'm even more certain that only I can give myself the life I want. As for what you just said, I don't agree. Thank you for arriving in time that day. If you ever need help in the future, you can come to me. Jenny smiled awkwardly. "You're still exactly the same. You haven't changed at all." I extended my hand and gave her a polite, professional smile. She shook it and returned the smile. She and Evelyn became distant because of me. And because of me, they somehow reconnected again. That's how relationships between people often are. Always changing because of one person, one moment, or one choice. Chapter 16. Robert's case had already reached its final stage in court. His two cousins were sentenced to prison. He received probation and residential surveillance. I was very satisfied with this outcome. Evelyn, because her company was involved in tax violations, was fined heavily. No one was willing to work with her anymore. When the public notice came out, I had just gotten off work. Our accountant, Pilar, called me over. "This is the consequence of betrayal." "No," I corrected her calmly. "The lesson is that obeying the law and paying taxes properly is what makes someone a good citizen." Pilar nodded rapidly. Right, you're absolutely right." I got into the car. The moment the headlights turned on, a dark figure stood in front of the vehicle. Looking carefully, it was Evelyn. Her lips were cracked, her eye sockets sunken, her gaze empty. In just 2 months, she looked like a completely different person. I honked. She didn't move. We stared at each other for nearly 2 minutes. Pilar rolled down the window and shouted, Good dogs don't block the road. Can I talk to you? Evelyn finally spoke. Pilar glanced at me nervously, signaling me not to agree. Say it here, I said. Pilar isn't an outsider. I lowered the window slightly, avoiding her gaze. She forced a weak smile. When she tilted her head, tears slid from the corners of her eyes. We've been together for more than 10 years. And today, I finally realized, I don't know you at all. If I tried to pursue you again, would you give me a chance to know you? I'll make it up to you. We can still have our own child in the future. Her breathing grew rapid, her face pressed against the window, desperate. It takes countless days and nights to build a relationship, but destroying everything only takes a single moment. Between you and me, there is no trust left. Evelyn, I agreed to divorce you not to give you a second chance, but because I finally let go. I rolled the window up. Regret that comes too late is nothing more than an illusion. Unreal. Meaningless. In this relationship, I had been betrayed, humiliated, abandoned. I had been passionate. I had gone mad. And I had calmed down. What truly killed everything were her actions, each moment cutting me apart piece by piece. Well done, Pilar said, patting my shoulder. I thought you might go soft. I smiled. How could I possibly go soft? The emotional part was over. But the other matters? I hadn't even started yet. As we drove out of the underground parking lot, the sunset painted the exit in red. I glanced at Pilar. See, our company is going to shine.